Here we go again. This is going to be another preemptive guide on all the characters coming to Outcome Memories, this time in the v0.2 update. I'm going to do my best to go in depth of everyone coming and explain things like how abilities work, as well as their cooldowns, if applicable. Let's kick this thing off with Blaze the cat. Blaze has a sort of soul meter underneath her health bar. It's a red bar that seems to fill up to 100%, and it ties directly into her abilities. I'll explain that further when we get there. Blaze's first ability is Roundkick. On activation, she'll do a lunging kick in the direction of the crosshair, kind of like Knuckles' punch. If she hits an EXE, they'll be stunned for 5 seconds. At least that's what it is in game now. That is subject to change. If she misses, she'll ragdoll for a second. Landing a Roundkick also fills her meter by 25. It's also worth noting, as of the time of writing this, Roundkick stacks like Sonic's drop dash or Knuckles' other attacks. Blaze's second ability is Soul Flame, and it has 2 variants of the move. The first one is a Flame Spear. This variant is only used while her meter is below 35. On use, she'll throw the spear in the direction of the crosshair. It does not stun, but it does push the EXE back a distance. Landing the spear fills Blaze's meter by 15. The second version of the move is a Flamethrower. Like Eggman's Flamethrower in Dimensional Coalescence, it pushes the EXE back continuously. It lasts for about 3 seconds and costs 35 of Blaze's meter to use. One last thing for Blaze. It's not clarified on which ability it's tied to, but if Blaze's meter is full, she can dart into the crosshair's direction for 3 seconds, and it can be used to stun the EXE. It also appears to stack. To summarize Blaze, she's a stunner defense mix. Roundkick lets her go on the offensive, but Soul Flame lets her consistently push the EXE or defend herself or others. I see potential in using her moves in succession, actually. If she lands a Roundkick, she can toss a spear at the EXE while they're still stunned to fill her meter to a total of 40. Not only that, but on maps like Not Perfect and YCR, you can use it to push the EXE off ledges that can increase the time it'll take for them to reach you again by a lot. You can probably use the Flamethrower alone too to block areas that require a spring to reach. I know that because I used to do it with Eggman in DC. Overall, she's meant to be an aggressive survivor, much like Knuckles. Now allow us to get into the future savior, Silver. Like Blaze, Silver has a meter under his health bar. This is his psychokinetic meter, and it seems to only fill passively. It also seems to be the thing that enables all of his abilities. Silver's first ability is Suspension. On use, Silver will throw a projectile in the crosshair's direction, costing a bit of his meter. Hitting an EXE with it will make him stop and levitate in place. From here, you can keep your crosshair on them to continue holding him in place for a few seconds, or you could throw him backwards a short distance, which would cost even more meter. Silver's second ability is Rock. I'm not joking, the teaser says that's its name. Anyways, on use, Silver will stop and pick up to 3 rocks. I say up to because you can apparently cancel the ability and just pick up 1. From here, you can throw them in the crosshair's direction. Hitting an EXE with a rock will make them ragdoll for a second and reduce their speed for a few seconds afterwards. You can also chain hits with them. This ability seems to cost a lot of the meter. Silver's third ability is Time Thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a placeholder name. On activation, musical notes will start playing from Silver. On the 8th one, he will quickly rewind in time to when he first activated the ability. If he gets hurt before it reaches the 8th note, the ability will cancel. It seems to cost a little over half the meter. Silver's fourth ability, yes, Romeo told me it's a separate ability, is Flight. It drains meter as he does it, and the flight itself is kinda fast. Sadly, there's not much more I could really say about this, as there's a lack of teasers for it at the moment. Perhaps we'll see more in the future. Silver is entirely a support character. His suspension ability is meant to slow down the killer, or give another survivor a free stun to land. I pulled this off with Romeo once while I was using Metal Sonic and he suspended him in the air. Like Blaze's Soul Flame, it can also be used to yeet the EXE off ledges. For his rock ability, I see two key uses of it. One, you can use it to intervene in someone else's chase, or two, you can use it while the EXE is recovering from a stun to slow them down when they are leaving it. As for his time thing, it's kind of a high-risk self-support move. If the EXE is on your tail, it can be hard to juke long enough for you to actually get the move to do its thing. Also, the EXE can just go to the spot where you activated it and hit you when you come out of it. The flight passive is pretty strong too. Using it on a full meter can probably make you airborne for maybe over 5 seconds. All in all, he's a mid-court support character with a lot of potential due to the many options within his abilities. With the survivors out of the way, now we can get into the real nitty-gritty of this video, the EXEs. We'll be starting off with the first one revealed, Kolossus. Let's get his M1 out of the way. It's a stab with his mutated arm. It does 55 damage, and it seems to have a slightly longer cooldown than 2011X's. Kolossus' first ability is Charge. On use, he'll do a 1-second wind-up animation and start charging in the direction of his crosshair. Touching a survivor while charging will impale them onto his spiked arm, dealing 25 damage. At the end of the charge, he'll throw the survivor or survivors off, giving him a chance to flee. If he runs into a wall, the survivors will go flying off early, and the charge will end early. Kolossus' second ability is Grab, and it works near identically to its TD counterpart. On use, he'll do a stab. If he hits a survivor, they'll be stuck on his arm and helpless for 6 seconds. Pressing M1 while a survivor is impaled will make him punch the survivor, dealing 15 damage each. You can down a full health survivor with this alone. Kolossus' third ability is Indicator. It works identically to how it does in TD. His screen turns red and all survivors are highlighted through walls for 5 seconds. Not much more to say about it. Kolossus' last ability is Block. We haven't seen gameplay of it just yet, but if it's anything like TD's, it'll deflect incoming attacks from survivors. Like Knuckles' counter, Kolossus would be outlined in white while blocking. Truth be told, Colossus is the exact same from how he was in TD. You use Grab when you're confident you'll hit a player, charge for mobility, or to finish off lower health players. You use your Indicator to find survivors, and you block to defend yourself. I believe he'll have a harder time compared to other killers like Fleetway and 2011X, due to his lack of mobility, which most survivors in the game have. However, like in TD, the trade-off is that Colossus is a heavy hitter. In short, he's harder to use, but he's stronger. Tripwire, more familiarly known as Tails Doll, is the second killer coming in v0.2. Compared to everyone else, we don't know much about her moveset. Her M1 is a slash that deals 35 damage and causes a bleeding effect in which the survivor will take extra damage over the few seconds following, kinda like Tails Doll's slash ability in TD. Tripwire's first ability has been shown off via a screenshot, and it's called Reach Out. It seems to grapple players nearby and bring them to her. That's all we know about her moveset itself. Her second ability is called Red Diamond, but we have no idea what it actually does since no gameplay nor teaser has shown it off just yet. That would wrap up Tripwire, but there is something I want to mention first. While I haven't seen it myself, I've heard from a couple of peoples that Sobii said that Tripwire could come as a survivor. It was said that by buying Tripwire as an executioner, she'll also be added to your roster of playable survivors. There's been talk of this by Sobii, but it is not confirmed yet. With that said, I feel like she could come as a surprise survivor. Not perfect was never even hinted to be at the game's launch, but here it is. I feel like they might do the same with Survivor Tripwire. Now, what would be really cool is a Tripwire vs. Tripwire solo. Imagine that shit. The last character we can delve into here is Fleetway Supersonic. Fleetway's M1 is just a swipe that does 35 damage. However, it has a chance to deal 44 damage, which will show if he flashes yellow. Before going over his abilities, I want to quickly run over his passives. The first one is Flight. Pressing jump while in the air will make him start flying like Tails Doll could in TD. How long he has to fly is indicated by a blue bar, and it seems to drain only while near survivors. His second passive is health. Unlike most other EXEs, he has 355 health, and he can quote-unquote die for being stunned too much. Dying immediately gives the win to the survivors. His health will also set itself to 165 in solo. Fleetway's first ability is Laser of Destruction. On activation, he'll stop in place and start firing lasers from his eyes, aimed via the crosshair. The lasers drain health quickly and have a chance to make survivors ignite after the ability ends, which could cause up to 24 more damage. This ability can be cancelled manually or from being stunned mid-use. Fleetway's second ability is Chaos Dash. On activation, all survivors are indicated, he curls up into a spin ball, and he charges into the air in the direction of the crosshair. Touching a survivor like this will deal 15 damage to them and increase his speed temporarily. The ability seems to last up to 5 seconds. Fleetway's third ability is Fateful Drain. On use, he'll start flashing red and aiming using the crosshair. Pressing M1 from here will make him lunge a far distance in that direction. If he lunges into a survivor, he'll drain 40 health from them and heal 40 to himself. If he misses the lunge 3 times in a row, the ability will go on cooldown. The cooldown itself lasts 30 seconds. Fleetway's final ability is Burst. On use, Fleetway will stop in place for a few seconds and release an energetic outburst. Anyone caught in the radius will take massive damage and catch fire. It also acts as an indicator for survivors. The ability can also be used while stunned, but it gives it a 40-second cooldown in return. Really, Fleetway is all aggression and nothing else. His flight allows him to keep up with anyone using mobility moves as well as surprise attack others. For his laser, you're better off using it in large open areas. Any smart player can just take cover from the attack by hiding behind something. In my eyes, Chaos Dash should be treated a lot like 2011X's Charge. Use it for free damage, to finish off survivors, or catch up in a chase. I feel like Fateful Drain is a less useful move overall though. I'd recommend only using it if you know the survivor team is trying to kill you instead of escaping. Burst is more of an anti-camper move. Someone's looping you in a single area, burst. You've cornered someone, burst. Someone's stacking stuns, burst. Fleetway is very similar to Tails Doll in TD. That is it for this long-ass script. I appreciate you sticking around to the end. I tried to cram in as many important details as I could remember, as well as check in some of the old teasers. Remember, everything here is subject to change, and this could become useless over time. Maybe it could become useless in even just a day. Despite that, thanks for hearing me yap. It took me some time to put this together, and I hope you at least got your memory refreshed on v0.2's characters. Have a good day or night, y'all. Take care.